Hey everyone, this is Spooky. Just thought I'd come through on this and make a quick video because I wanted to go through some of my own experience with shooters and particularly Overwatch. So, just to put this in context let me jump into my career profile here. I was not very good at the game. We see here that I wasn't very good in Season 1. Season 2, I was gold, but that was when the distribution was all screwy, and even then I ended silver. So, yeah. Season 3 is where it really kicked in, and I ended up bronze. I started at 1100, and I climbed up here. Really started, understanding how the game worked closer to the end of Season 3. That was really shit. Then I took some time off and I just did placements. In Season 4, I did some placements. In Season 5, I basically didn't play in Season 5. If you can see here, I had 3 hours played, or 5 hours played, thereabouts, in Season 5. Season 4, it was a bit more, probably double the playtime. Either way, Season 6 is where I started really focusing and improving. I didn't even play much in Season 6, but the amount that I did play was consistently good. So my win percentage was 75, 86, 68, 59. My lowest was Farah at 31, right? So looking at this and then going through and seeing Season 7 where I'm getting better win percentages. Ignore these guys. I didn't play many games with these ones. You see there, I've done the most playtime with Soldier. My Soldier's win percentage is 72. And that's at a plat level. And in Season 6, that's Season 7. And then I'm not doing as well this season. It's all right. I'm still around the same level, but my Soldier has come down a bit. And my Mercy is doing better. And ignore these two. These three are outliers. I don't think I've played much McCree. No, see. So this season, I've been playing a bit more support for my friends because they've gotten better DPS, but at the same time, we're kind of struggling to get into that mid-plat range. But anyway, so that's, my highest, my career highest is 26-24, I believe. What was my career high? So it would have been this season or last season. Yeah, 26-24 was my career high, and that I got that this season versus 1100, which is what I started Season 3 with, or 1080 or whatever it was. So and I want to attribute this to some really basic things I put down. And I know that I'm only a platinum player giving tips, but this is what I did to climb out of bronze. So we're going to go into practice mode. I'm quickly going to run something through here, and I'm going to show you some basics. There's 3 things in Overwatch that dictate how good you are. There's your mechanical skill. There's how well you work in a team fight, which is how you understand how the fight's going, how you know to engage and disengage and who to prioritize. And then there's your ability to read a player, to understand habits in specific players, to understand that this Ryan is charge happy, this Roadhog is really trying to throw hooks out at our Mercy, to understand how their Soldier is using his heal point, and all sorts of different ways. What Mercy is prioritizing with her Resurrection. And what you want to focus with this is, we're going to focus on your mechanical skill here. And what I'm going to do is, let's say you have 0 hours on Overwatch, you've just done your competitive, you've gotten level 25, you've done your competitive, you've placed in bronze. This is what I'd recommend that you do. I'm going to pick Zarya here, and I'll go through the reason for that soon. But what I'm going to do is, don't stress about what people are using. What you do want to do is you want to find a nice sensitivity that you can really control, that feels good to you. And for me, your actual effective sensitivity is decided by 2 things. There's your DPI, which is how your computer is reading your mouse on an operating system level, so how Windows is reading your mouse. And then there's your in-game sensitivity, and you figure those 2 out to understand your total sensitivity. So I've got a 4K monitor, and that's just preference for me. I like 4K gaming at 60 frames. I will eventually get a higher frame rate computer, and that helps people, but by a tiny factor. It's diamond, maybe high diamond to low masters, maybe as a factor, maybe, probably not. But 60 frames you generally want it to run because that's like the smoothest that you'll get it going. I've got my sensitivity at 1.35. Now I'm running my DPI at 3200, which is very high. So you understand. Most people would run it at 1800 and 900, at which point you'd want to bring the sensitivity to like 2.7 or to whatever, 4 times, what is it, 5.4. But the number on your in-game sensitivity doesn't matter. It's what you feel comfortable with, and there's a really good video that... Who did it? I think it was CarQ, or it might be Iostux. They're both really good Overwatch YouTubers, and I really like their content. So I'm going to link the correct one in an annotation, which should just be appearing right over my face right about now. But aside from that, figure out your sensitivity. That's fine. What I will say makes a big improvement is your crosshair. Now, I'm going to jump into advanced crosshair here. You want your reticle to actually be a crosshair. And the reason for that is that your crosshair gives you a... here we go. Let me see if I can go into annotation mode here. Your crosshair needs to give you information, and so a standard crosshair will give you information on whether something is lined up horizontally and whether something is lined up vertically. So if you have a target who's over here, let's delete these. If you have a target that's over here, then you get that vertical. You understand that vertically your crosshair is aligned. You just need to move sideways to target them. Whereas if you have a target that's over here, you understand that you need to move your crosshair a little bit to the side and a lot up, and you get that immediate information. That's why I don't agree with dots or circles. If you want to put a dot in the center of your crosshair, or if you want to put a circle around the center of your crosshair, whatever, I don't think, honestly, that setting a crosshair specific to the hero's weapon type is particularly a good habit. I think you're better off memorizing and getting an understanding of how their spread works, and I'll go into that in a second as well. But these are my crosshair stats. Now, green isn't pretty. The rest of the game's UI is white, but the reason I'm selecting green is that green is one of the primary colors on your monitor. Your monitor has pixels that are red, blue, and green, and sometimes they can, you have other combinations, but green is one of the 3 primary colors, so it stands out the best. It's not a blend of other colors. I'm going to quickly bring back my camera and exit this annotation mode. There we go. Green is, so green is one of the primary colors, and your enemies are red, so you don't want your crosshair to be red. You aim over it, green contrasts the red really well. Your crosshair starts as white. The problem I have with that is that you have lots of white walls, white sky, snow on maps. It's really hard to see white on white, even with the little outline on your crosshair. And some people use blue, and blue is all right, but at the same time, there's a lot of blue in these maps too, whereas there's very little green. Look, this is one of the few green objects in here. There's bushes that are green. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, nothing quite matches this green. Nothing obscures this green very much. And it's really nice. So it really helps you get that information on where your crosshair is sitting and making sure that your crosshair is over the target. So that's what you want to focus on. Now that your sensitivity in your crosshair is set up, what you want to focus on is building your basic mechanical skills. When I say that, I mean pointing at something, clicking it, and hitting them. Right? And that's it. There you go. So, the reason I'm using Zarya is that she has a beam that acts like a hit scan. So, the second you click it, it hits. As long as you're pointing at someone and they're in range, it hits the second you start clicking. Another reason is that she's got this nice big... Oh, my lighting is not happy with me. There we go. Another reason that's nice is that for Zarya, for practicing your aim, is that she's got this nice big ammo pool, and it ticks down like 2 per second, right? Or no, more, 4 per second. I don't know. Anyway, it ticks down at a certain rate. Yeah. And you can use that. So to kill someone here with 0 charge on Zarya, it's about 55. You're left with 55 ammo. If you start missing and you're spraying around and you're trying to get that kill, you use significantly more ammo. I've used 17 there instead of... I have 17 left over instead of 55. So you can actually use Zarya's beam to grade your accuracy tracking. Not your headshots, but just making sure that it's hitting them full stop. Because it's either a headshot or any other shot on Overwatch. So shooting them in the foot will do the same damage as shooting them in the chest. Because that's the thing. So what I tend to do with Zarya is I tend to recommend that people learn aiming and tracking. So following people and adjusting for your own movement with Zarya. So this is what I'd be doing. You start off at a medium range, and then you start moving, and you want to follow them, and then you start shooting. See, I used 50 there. 52. But what'll happen is as you're following them, you're learning 54. You're learning how to commit this sort of compensation for your own movement into muscle memory. Then what you're going to do is you're going to go really close, and you're going to have to move the mouse a lot more. 56. Okay, there you go. So 56 is the best one so far. And you're going to have to learn how to compensate for your own mouse and your own movement. Then you come out here, and you have to suddenly start moving the mouse a lot less. You have to be really controlled over how you're moving the mouse. Yep. So those are the things, those 3 distances you practice. Practice right up close, 5 meters, and what is this? 5 meters, 10 meters. Yeah. 10 meter, 0 meters, 5 meters, 10 meters distance away from the robot. So you can practice more. Zarya's beam is a 20 meter range. So you can do it right from there. I missed a bit there, and I was out of range for some of that. Now at the same time, you can start moving closer. I want you to start moving closer and further away. So you start really far away and you move close, and then vice versa. Because what you will be doing is you will be generally moving towards a player when you're attacking them, or you'll be moving away. So that's going to be really important, and that's how you get your basic tracking down, right? And that's how you compensate for your own movement. That's really big. And then you can start following people with your beam. And I recommend that a lot. These you won't get as good results on these guys because they tend to move erratically and turn around, but so do normal players too. See, 37. Let's see if we can get into the 50s. 27, that's garbage. Oh, he's holding still a lot. Come on. I wouldn't like stress yourself too much on these. See, because you get lots of random bullshit like this. But just try and do it and see what your best score can be, and try and keep it consistently. I'd say within the 30s or 40s is very... I'd say that's pretty good for someone at our level. Someone chilling at bronze here. And, you know, like, don't count it when they, like, do this and they just stand in a goddamn... They move in a line. It's really... Yeah, see? Try and do it when they're, like, going around corners and being really annoying. See, there we go, 41. We're getting better. And try and keep moving as well. Try and move in zigzags, serpentines. And you'll get better. Now, so that's what we call tracking aim, right? That's keeping a reticle on someone as they move. That's good for Soldier. It's good for Zarya. It's good for everyone, actually. But for the guys that I'm going to recommend that you play, it's essential for Soldier and for Zarya. Now, I did mention before that you need to learn your weapon's recoil pattern, and that's still something that I hold by. You do need to learn that. And by recoil pattern, what I mean is, so this is bigger in Counter-Strike, where you'll have a gun fire and it'll start shaking, it'll go up and then to the side, and you know, people are able to compensate for that. They'll start aiming down and then right because the gun goes up and then left. But with Overwatch, your reticle doesn't move at all. What does happen, though, is your recoil changes by itself. You see there how the bullets went everywhere? Well, for Soldier, the first 4 don't. 1, 2, 3, 4. And look at that. They didn't move. Maybe one went off a little bit. But in the context of getting a headshot 30 meters away. Done. You know, that's 10, 20, 30. Yeah, 30 meters away from this line here. Right? So you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. It takes 6 headshots to kill a 200 HP hero with soldier. And that's what you do. But if I were to... You will still get the kill here. But if I were to aim center mass, you can see that it starts taking a lot longer to get those kills. Or if I do the first 4 shots somewhere else and then I aim over that robot, which I'll do now. So if I go... It takes a lot longer and a lot more ammo, and then you have to reload, which is another 1.5 seconds that you can't do anything. So that's something that's relevant. So that's what I'd be looking at doing, is like those headshots are invaluable, especially for soldier. But like it's not going to be life or death if you do or don't get them. What I would try and do to practice this though, just against these robots, and you want to start trying to aim like closer to the top chest and neck with soldier and start firing in bursts. That's going to be a big thing for maximizing your damage. What I do is I try and see how many kills I could get in one magazine with soldier. Right? You need 18 bullets to get 3 kills minimum, which means that you have an entire kill left over. See? I almost got 4. You could arguably get 4 kills. But try and see how many you can get. And if you can't do it while you move around, like I'm moving around, and I'm getting 3 kills fairly consistently. Wait. Come on. Where'd he go? I'm getting 3 kills while moving. Try and see what you do. If you're not getting those headshots and you're not getting doing very well while you're moving, then do it while you stand still. You know, just track them. It's fine. No shame. And eventually, what you'll do is you'll get really good at tracking while you stand still, and you'll be able to do it better while... You'll get really good at that basic tracking, and you'll start being able to do it while you move. And that's what I'm going to recommend. Now, the last thing I want to touch on here, if you really want to climb out of bronze and silver and you want to get into gold, high gold, maybe low plat, you can do this just by getting kills and not dying. If you're a support and you don't die and you're healing nonstop, then you're probably not going to carry your team as much, right? Like, a shit DPS cannot be supported. I'm going to say that. A DPS who can't kill or takes 3 times longer to kill than the other DPS is never going to be supported. Not in this game. It's going to be impossible, and at no point should it be possible as a balancing perspective. But a good enough DPS with shit support can still carry. Can still beat a DPS with a mediocre DPS and a mediocre support. And that's just because you'll have time to kill, and when I say time to kill, I mean like you will minimize the time it takes for you to put your crosshair over to the time they die. From when you see them to when they die, that's your time to kill. Right? With soldier, your time to kill is under 1 second. If you land nothing but headshots on a 200 HP hero and they're not being healed, it's 2/3 of a second. It's super quick. So if you get really good at killing people quickly, their supports can't help them. And then all you have to do is not die, because every time you die, that's 12 seconds plus however long it takes you to get back to the fight. Plus, if the rest of your team dies after you do, if you don't all die at the same time, if your team dies like 20 seconds later while you're still respawning and moving over, you've got to wait for them then. And that's another 20 seconds. So you've potentially lost 40 seconds of action just because you died at the beginning of a fight, right? So you get kills, you don't die, that's how you get good at low-level Overwatch, because the team fights are so disorganized and bad that generally, instead of like being a full 6v6 when the fight starts and everyone going in together, people trickle a lot. And by trickle, I mean they go in when like half their team is already dead, and they go in and they try and reinitiate that fight. and the team fights tend to start like a 5v4 as opposed to a 6v6. So that's why I recommend getting really good at DPS, so you can try and get those picks earlier and just minimize the amount of times that your less talented teammates will have to try and stall you. So now at the same time, you need to know who to play, because if you're going to play Widowmaker or Hanzo at bronze level and you've been playing them and you're still at bronze level, sorry, but you're really not, you shouldn't ever. Please don't. Like, they're so high. There's this heroes like Genji and McCree and Tracer and Hanzo and Widowmaker and Zenyatta are all so high skill level that you really should never, ever play them if you're not consistently winning with them. What you'd be better off doing is, if they have a lot of tanks and their team comp sucks, you play Reaper. Ideally, you should always try and lock in Soldier, because Soldier is the jack of all trades. He's good at close range. He's got a rocket for burst damage. He can pick Pharah out of the sky really easily. His ult is good at killing Mercy in her moth form and Pharah, and it's good at handling Genji Dragon Blades. And who else? Who else does it mess up? And it makes Lucio, who's stalling on the point, a piece of cake, and it can handle Moira, who's darting around the place. And Symmetra, if she's diving you, and you have your ult up, that Symmetra's dead. So Soldier is amazing, and I recommend that you get really good with Soldier just through mechanical aim practicing and playing him a lot in quick play against like Pharahs and learning how they move and how to take them down. And once you can consistently like pick people off and not die and learn how to best utilize his abilities, I recommend that you insta-lock Soldier. He's what I used to climb. I had a 70% win rate with Soldier by the time I hit Platinum, which was done primarily through solo queue, but I also geo queued with a friend who was high gold at the time when I was in gold. So I highly recommend Soldier, Reaper if they're running a ton of tanks, and Pharah if they have no counters to you. Be really careful with Pharah, though, because she can get picked off, and it takes her a lot of time to get to the cover. So if that Soldier is really good at picking Pharah's out and his time to kill is 1.5 seconds, that Pharah is going to die the second she moves away from cover. So you want to have cover in front of you, and you want to peek around and shoot, and then peek and shoot. And that way you're out of cover for maybe 1/6 of a second. For like for 0.6 seconds. You come out, you shoot, you're back in. And that Soldier doesn't have enough time to kill you. Even if he's waiting for you, he wouldn't. Whereas a Widow, a good Widow might, but at the same time, you're bronze, silver, gold. There's not many great Widows up there. Like, they might get lucky, but whatever. Fire is really good against Junkrat spam too, which you're going to see a lot of. I don't recommend Junkrat because he is about to get toned down a bit, and I reckon the next balance patch there'll be something else for him as well. I don't really recommend any of the defense heroes at all. Mei is alright for stalling the point, but she's pretty useless otherwise, especially if no one can capitalize on her abilities. She gets better once you hit like Plat, Diamond, Masters, and yeah, Junkrat's about to be nerfed, so use him if you want, but at the same time, a lot of the skill that you're going to put into learning him is going to be lessened. Diva is good. If you get good at Diva, I highly recommend it. You should probably learn a main tank. I'd recommend Orisa more than Reinhardt. Reinhardt's not doing as well this meta. Orisa's doing quite well. You just be defensive or aggressive with your shields as you see fit. It's more about learning how the team fight is going with Orisa. Is like pulling people into positions where you think your team can kill them and shooting them and just like doing chip damage and being really good with your shield placement will carry you. But for tanks, I'm going to recommend that you play Diva or Roadhog or Zarya. And Zarya is because you're practicing that aim and you can use your E, the bubble that you put onto an ally, to save idiots. So if someone goes off and they get hooked by Roadhog, you can save them. Or if they get charged by Reinhardt, you can save them. Or there's a Junkrat Riptire coming at you and your Mercy. You can bubble both of you. You can bubble each other, and you get a ton of bonus damage for your gun from that, and it's really, really good. I got out of bronze primarily Zarya Soldier, and I stayed Soldier going up. you will eventually have to still play healer. I highly recommend you play Mercy. Mercy is the easiest character mechanically, and she revolves very much around learning how team fights are going, as opposed to needing to 1v1 someone, or as opposed to needing to have really good mechanical aim. I do not recommend Ana. Ana is super hard, and she's super weak in this meta because a lot of tanks are. Oh, God damn it! Hold on. With every death comes honor. A lot of tanks are really good at killing Ana at the moment. Diva and Winston are the two most popular tanks, and are really good at killing her. Roadhog's good at killing her. Reinhardt and Arisa's barriers stop her from working. So low levels definitely don't play Ana. Lucio is tricky. He's a big decision maker like Mercy, but he needs more mechanical skill, and he's really easy to pick off if you can't wall ride very well. Mercy is good. Moira is all right. She's a good secondary healer, and if you can land your shots with the projectiles, I recommend Zenyatta. But no one's going to take advantage of him, and no one's going to protect him on low levels. So you try and stay away from support as much as you can, but if you need to, try and get Mercy. But ideally you want to play Soldier or Zarya, Diva, Roadhog. And that's probably how you're going to climb the best. And I get it. Like, some people want to main a hero. Oh, hold on. No, come on. My light died. Some people want to main a hero, and, you know, I wanted to be a Sombra main and a Widow main. And, yeah, I'm a Genji main. But when you're at that level, you're better off learning the basics and learning how to aim, how to position, how to read a fight. And then you can apply those tactics and that basic stuff that you're learning onto the new hero. And yeah, you still need to spend some time learning their skills, learn how Genji's dash works and when you should and shouldn't dash, and how to, like, you know, if you're standing directly behind a McCree and you deflect, you'll kill him during his high noon, and it's really cool. And learning that's really cool, but at the same time, you're not gonna do very well with a character that needs so much skill to be basically good, to have such a high skill floor, where Soldier has a very low skill floor and a very decently high skill ceiling, to a point where he's still primarily used in pro play, even over people who can always land headshots with McCree. So I heavily recommend that you put your main your aspirations for a main aside. Like, if you want to be a sick Doomfist main, you can, but get good at shooting and at shooters first, and then start focusing on your main once you get a bit higher, and start practicing and using your skill set and using your ability to read a team fight and to know your own positioning, and start using that yourself before you go to that level. So anyway, guys, if you have any questions, let me know. I haven't uploaded in a while, but I've taken some time off work, so that's going to be nice and fun. And let me know if you have any questions. I'll either bring them up at the start of the next video, or if they're a really complicated question, I'll make a larger, more professional style video like I did with the high ground one on my channel, which I'll just annotate on the opposite corner over there. All right, guys, catch ya. Bye.